Good evening, everyone. Have you ever felt fear standing at your door, refusing to leave, whispering all the reasons you can't move forward? Most of us have. Fear is relentless. But tonight, I want to tell you about a type of courage that doesn't roar. A courage that rises quietly, steadily, even when the world seems to shake. This is the courage of a woman who faced fear and didn't let it define her. This is the story of answering fear with faith. When fear knocked on her door, she could have shut it and retreated into doubt. She could have let hesitation take over, convincing herself that safety was the only path. But she didn't. Instead, she took a deep breath, grounded herself in what she believed, and stepped forward with faith. Faith in herself, faith in the journey, and faith that no matter how dark the night seemed, the dawn was coming. Can you imagine the bravery it takes to open the door to uncertainty and choose trust instead? That is not weakness. That is extraordinary strength. Faith didn't make her life free of challenges. No, it made her stronger in them. Every obstacle became an opportunity to grow. Every moment of fear, a chance to prove that courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. She faced criticism, doubt, and even moments when giving up seemed easier than trying. But in every moment, she reminded herself, I am bigger than my fear. My faith is louder than my doubts. And that belief carried her through storms that could have broken anyone else. What's remarkable is that her courage wasn't just for herself. When others saw her rise, they were inspired. Her faith became a beacon, proving that fear can be a teacher, but it doesn't have to be a jailer. She showed that stepping forward even when your knees shake is a victory in itself. And that victory multiplies when shared, when her story becomes the spark that encourages others to confront their own fears with faith. She didn't let fear dictate the terms of her life. Most people would have stepped back, chosen the familiar, and allowed comfort to become a shield against the unknown. But she was different. She understood that true courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the willingness to move forward in spite of it. Every time doubt whispered that she couldn't, every time hesitation tried to anchor her to safety, she chose action instead. Imagine standing at the edge of a decision that could change everything, knowing that failure was a possibility, and yet feeling a pull inside that demanded you rise. That is the kind of courage she carried, quiet but unshakable. She knew that staying comfortable would never lead to growth. Comfort is a cage, and she refused to live behind bars of what-ifs and maybe-nots. Every small step into uncertainty was a declaration of her strength, a proof that bravery is born in the moments we refuse to let fear define us. She didn't wait for conditions to be perfect, nor did she ask for permission to shine. She understood that growth demands discomfort, and progress is never found in the easy places. With each challenge, she reminded herself that hesitation was the enemy of transformation, and that moving forward, even when her heart pounded and her mind screamed, "Stop," was the only way to honor her potential. Her courage wasn't loud. It wasn't about grand gestures or public recognition. It was about choosing to face the unknown when every instinct begged her to retreat. And in those moments, she discovered something remarkable: that fear can only control those who give it the power to do so. She turned obstacles into opportunities simply by refusing to be paralyzed. The world tried to convince her that safety was preferable to risk, that stability was better than change, but she knew better. She understood that the most powerful stories of women are not those who never faced fear, but those who dared to step out, walk through it, and embrace the uncertainty with conviction. Every choice to rise above comfort built a foundation of strength, and every step forward inspired others who watched in awe, wondering how they too could find the courage to move when fear knocked on their doors. Her story proves that bravery isn't about never being afraid. It's about refusing to let fear write your story for you, and instead answering it with determination, faith, and an unwavering belief in your own strength. Fear can be deafening, But faith has a voice that is even stronger. She understood this truth better than most, that fear is relentless, it tests your patience, it questions your worth, and it threatens to make you doubt everything you believe about yourself. Yet, she chose a different path. When fear tried to paralyze her with what ifs and you can't, she answered with faith, faith in her abilities, faith in her purpose, and faith that the universe, in its mysterious way, rewards those who dare to trust even when the path is unclear. Faith became her weapon against doubt, her shield against uncertainty, and her compass when every direction seemed confusing. She didn't wait for fear to disappear or for perfect conditions to appear. She acted in spite of it. That is the essence of true courage, not waiting for the storm to pass, but learning to dance in the rain. Every step she took was guided by belief, not blind optimism, but a grounded, unwavering confidence that she was capable of overcoming whatever lay ahead. Imagine the power it takes to hold your own hand, to whisper to yourself, "I can," when the world seems determined to tell you otherwise. That power is transformative. Faith gave her clarity in chaos, strength in moments of weakness, and vision when everything else was shrouded in doubt. It reminded her that fear may visit, it may linger, but it does not get to decide the story of her life. She harnessed faith as a source of momentum, a way to push forward when fear demanded retreat, and a tool to turn obstacles into opportunities. Each challenge she faced became a test of her resolve, a chance to prove that belief in oneself is more potent than any voice of doubt. And as she moved forward with faith as her guide, others began to notice. Her courage was contagious because it was rooted not in arrogance or denial, but in a deep understanding that faith is a choice you make every single day, especially when fear knocks hardest. She showed that answering fear with faith isn't passive. It's active, it's bold, and it reshapes your life in ways that hesitation never could. Her story reminds us all that the most powerful women are not those untouched by fear, but those who meet it, challenge it, and rise above it with unwavering faith. She learned to see fear not as a wall, but as fuel, a force that could propel her forward if she chose to harness it. Every moment of doubt, every heartbeat of hesitation became an invitation to rise stronger than before. Life tried to break her, whispering that she wasn't ready, that she didn't have what it takes, that the risks were too high. But she refused to accept that narrative. Instead, she turned fear into momentum. She allowed it to sharpen her focus, ignite her determination, and clarify her purpose. Imagine standing at the edge of the unknown, with uncertainty pressing in from every side, yet finding a spark inside yourself that lights the path forward. That spark is what she carried, fueled by the understanding that fear is not the enemy, but a signpost pointing to what matters most. The bigger the fear, the greater the opportunity for growth, and she never shied away from it. She embraced challenges that would have caused others to retreat, knowing that each obstacle she faced was a chance to transform doubt into determination, hesitation into action, and anxiety into achievement. Her life became a living testament that the moments which scare us the most often hold the keys to our greatest victories. She faced failure, criticism, and moments when giving up seemed like the easiest choice. But with every step forward, she proved that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to act despite it. The energy of fear, instead of immobilizing her, became the very fuel that powered her decisions, her resilience, and her relentless pursuit of growth. And as she moved forward, she realized that this transformation wasn't just personal. Others watched in awe, inspired by the way she converted fear into action, doubt into progress, and uncertainty into triumph. Her story teaches that fear can either confine you or drive you, and she chose the latter every single time. She showed that true bravery is not about never feeling fear. It's about learning to dance with it, to channel it, and to let it push you into new heights of courage and achievement. She didn't just survive fear, She used it to become unstoppable, a living example that fear, when met with faith and purpose, can be the greatest fuel for a life lived fully and courageously. Her bravery was never just for herself. It rippled outward, touching lives she didn't even know were watching. Every time she faced fear with faith, every time she took a step forward when doubt pressed hardest, she became a living example for others struggling with their own battles. People began to notice, not just her victories, but the way she carried herself through uncertainty with grace and determination. Her courage inspired those around her to question their own limitations, to reconsider the fears that held them back, and to realize that strength is cultivated through action, not avoidance. She understood that true power doesn't come from being untouched by fear. It comes from showing up, even when fear is loud, and proving that persistence, faith, and self-belief can transform lives. Her story became a beacon, illuminating the path for others who felt trapped by their doubts, showing them that courage is contagious. Every choice she made to confront challenges head-on sent a silent message to everyone observing. You too can rise above your fears. And as her influence grew, she realized that inspiring others wasn't an accident. It was a responsibility she had embraced through her own perseverance. People saw her stumble, saw her face setbacks, and yet never give in, and that visibility made her story relatable and profoundly motivating. She taught that bravery is not a solitary achievement. It multiplies when shared, when lived openly, and when it lights the way for someone else's journey. Her life became proof that the ripple effect of courage is stronger than any individual victory. One woman's decision to confront fear with faith can ignite a movement of hope, resilience, and empowerment. Her story reminds us that when you rise above your own challenges, you are not just lifting yourself, you are lifting everyone who looks to you for inspiration. She transformed personal struggle into collective strength, showing that the essence of bravery is not measured only in private victories, but in the lives it touches and motivates along the way. Her courage became a testament to the fact that each act of faith, no matter how small, has the potential to ignite hope, spark transformation, and encourage others to believe in their own power to rise. By facing fear with faith, she didn't just change her life. She became a guiding light for countless others who needed to see that rising is always possible. So today, when fear knocks at your door, whatever form it takes, remember her example. Pause, take a breath, and answer not with hesitation, but with belief. Step forward, even if the steps are small, even if the path is unclear. Because faith has a way of turning fear into fuel, doubt into determination, and moments of hesitation into leaps of transformation. Let her story remind us all that courage is not reserved for the fearless. It is reserved for those who, when fear comes knocking, choose to answer with faith. Thank you.